All righty. Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Mark Jackson, and I'm excited to be in this space with you guys. Uh, I, I got so much to say. I know where I want to start. Let's just go here. It's the 30th. Got people waiting until the first or the second to get started. And sadly, for so many of them, by then it's too late. They're going to spend today, tomorrow, and Wednesday I guess tomorrow is Wednesday, reinforcing the habits that they want to stop and delaying the change that they really want. And they think, or we often think, that some magical day on a calendar that goes from 31 back to 1, from 25 to 2026, is going to make a difference. Only thing is going to make a difference is us. So this is Rewire Your Goals, using the power of neuroscience and vision to create lasting habits, something all of us truly want and often need some help experiencing and accomplishing. So, as people are getting in the space, want to get you ready for some quick introductions. Just want you to be able to unmute, come on camera. By the way, if you are able, I really get energy from faces. I get energy from feeling the collective, gathering of all of us. If you are willing, and only if you are willing, if you are able, and only if you are safely able, I'd love for you to turn your camera on. If that's not an option or a preference, no offense taken, no pressure. Do what makes you most comfortable. But if you can and if you're willing, like I said, it just gives me energy. It's part of my personality, behavioral style, my temperament as a high I personality. So if you can, get ready, get ready, get ready. Want you to tell us your name and also where are you watching from? I didn't put that on the list. Your name, where are you watching from, and one word that describes your personality. Um, I know quite a number of people on here directly. So I'm going to start with a great couple that I enjoy like gangbusters. Wes and Jess, also affectionately known as Wessica, because they're a celebrity couple. If you guys would unmute, tell us your names, where you're watching or where you're part of this webinar from, and a word that describes each of you.
Hi, everybody. As Mark said, my name is Jessica, and we're watching from Harrisonville in our kitchen with our little puppy. And I guess the word that describes me, um, I guess in a way like sensitive, maybe. And I don't mean
Yeah.
that in like a bad way, just kind-hearted, I guess. I just care about
Yes,
people.
absolutely. Yeah. Wonderful, wonderful. I would agree with that, Miss Jess. Yes. And your lovely husband. Yes, sir.
I'm Wes, and yeah, I one word to describe myself or my personality, corny.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
would be a pretty good one because my really bad jokes.
Yeah. You said corny.
Yep,
Yeah.
corny.
Oh, I thought you said ornery, like you were a pretty
Well,
ornery
Say
that
fella.
too.
creative. That too.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. Thank you guys very much. I'm going to move to another familiar face on the screen, and she's your fairy godmother. She owns an alteration business. I'll tell her where she's watching from and then have her introduce herself. Go right ahead, young lady.
I am Maria Gale, and I'm from Pleasant Hill. And my personality, tenacious.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Tenacious, a great trait for rewiring your goals. And she is your fairy godmother. She owns an alterations shop right there in Pleasant Hill. And we met when I needed a suit altered. And man, we hit a familiarity and a kinship there that goes way beyond clothes and all that good stuff. So good to see you here, Miss Maria.
Thank
Glad
you.
you're here. All righty. Next up, I see Miss Alexandria. Unmute, tell us your name, where you're watching from, and one word that describes your personality.
Okay. Hello, I'm Alexandria, and I am viewing from Adrian, Missouri. And my one word, well, it's hyphenated. I'm a go-getter.
Absolutely. Goal-getters make great goal getters. So
Absolutely.
very fitting. Thank you so much. Good to see you in this space.
Yes,
Now,
thank you.
there happens to be a face on here that I have known the longest, which includes her whole life. My niece, would you unmute? Give us your name. Tell us where you're watching from, young lady.
Hi, Uncle Mark.
Hey.
My name is Erica. And okay. I am watching from Cincinnati, Ohio. And my name is
And one
Erica.
word that describes your personality.
Adventurous.
Adventurous. Absolutely. Good to see you, young lady. I've raised my right hand. I promise not to tell any of your childhood stories if you don't tell none of mine. I
That's
love you.
fair.
All right. Can Miss Tiffany, are you able to at least unmute and introduce yourself, your name, where you're from, and one word that describes your personality? If not, no pressure. Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Hi, I am Tiffany. I'm watching from Cincinnati, Ohio as well. And one word to describe my personality, I would say creative, I guess.
Okay. Creative. Wonderful. Glad you've joined us, Miss Tiffany. Thank you for being here.
No problem.
How
Thanks
about,
for
yes, pleasure. How about Laurel? Are you in a position? Yes, I see you.
Hello, Laurel from located in Arizona. One word, intense.
Intense. Okay. Thank you for that, Miss Laurel. And even the way you delivered that was pretty intense. So thank you for that. Michelle, I think you're in a meeting, but are you able to? I think she's in. Oh, there's no. Yeah, I thought she was in a meeting. Oh, yeah. Can you unmute? Tell us your name, where you're watching from. We don't have your volume. If you see your screen, I think I've invited you to unmute. If you tap your screen, you'll see there you go.
Okay, great. Okay, I'm Michelle. I'm from Harrisonville. And one word to describe my personality: outgoing.
Outgoing. We've known each other for next year makes 10 years we've known each other, ma'am. So
Wow, the
I
time
would
flies.
agree with that. Outgoing as well. Good to see you here, ma'am.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So thank you guys for playing along. I think I might have an introduction here. Okay. So if you don't know much about me, I am Mark Jackson, and all of these words, they just mean I'm a spoiled man. If I just balled them up, I've had the pleasure of being trained and certified in things that first and foremost changed my life in ways that, oof, will be 3 hours if I get into it. Who I thought I was, what I thought I was pursuing, what I thought was worthy of pursuing, all changed when I was trained to be a Bible-based transformational life coach. I train and certify coaches as well. And it starts with 6 weeks of working on yourself. And man, oh man, did this bald guy need it. Then I was additionally trained in the neuroscience of change. You're going to get a lot of that tonight. Trained in informed trauma coaching, the fantastic world of our nervous system, our fight, flight, or freeze mechanisms, our panic and anxiety, and some of the roots of it that I get to sit with clients around the world and help and serve them toward a different experience and a different state of being that they desire. I'm trained in DISC and True Colors, which are personality behavioral styles, fatherhood, motherhood, co-parenting. Lately, I've been geeking out on saboteurs. It's not even on the list. Saboteurs, the different subconscious things that come up that cause us to self-sabotage. I do speaking and training events. I do leadership training for for-profit businesses, nonprofits. I do the DISC and True Colors assessments and training. Also, I coach and train entrepreneurs, aspiring entrepreneurs, C-suite executives, senior managers, mid-level managers, ministry people, moms and dads, siblings, people who are here. They want to go there, and there's a lot of obstacles in the way. I get to come alongside, ask the right questions, give the right materials and paradigms so that we can be who we were always intended to be, but were never allowed. So that gets us out of our comfort zone, that gets us out of the status quo, and we meet this fantastic person who's been waiting to meet us for a long time, us. So I specialize in something I call the self-self relationship. When that relationship changes, our relationship with everyone else and everything else changes as well. It's really hard to fight as hard as you do. Let me call you out here real quick. Fighting so hard for harmony and balance with all these external relationships, with an internal relationship filled with hostility, judgment, punishment. I'll say more when we start this workshop. So I'm just a spoiled man that gets to meet people and organizations in these states and walk with them, work with them to vibrancy. Oh, I can't wait. Let's just do this. That is, by the way, my greatest honor and joy in so many ways, healthy and unhealthy. We're fishing around in this bowl full of keys, looking for the key that will unlock things for us. Most of us aren't going to find it by ourselves. I didn't find it by myself. But when I got into this training to become a coach to help others, I found my key. I have found more of my keys, and I keep getting more and more unlocked. And I think now sometimes I need to pay my clients because while I'm serving them, I'm getting unlocked. And it is absolutely my greatest honor and joy. Let me say this. I'm also a pastor, and I have seen just as much Isaiah 61 from coaching, Bible-based coaching, as preaching, setting captives free, the Spirit of the Lord, that is, setting captives free, opening the eyes of the blind, setting at liberty those who are stuck in bondage. So it's just my greatest honor and joy. And got a question for you as we get ready to dive in. Pausing for a few seconds to let you just soak in. Take a deep breath. Do me a favor, do yourself a favor. Get present in the present with yourself. Depending on where you're watching from, it's 5:15 or 6:15 p.m., or it's 7:15 or 8:15 p.m., and it will only be that for the next 60 seconds. You are right here, right now. You're not in tomorrow's uncertainties. You're not in yesterday's pain and regrets. Let's just get present in the present. You signed up for this for a reason. So the question is, why are you here? And what would have to happen for you to feel like you truly invested in yourself and walked away with nuggets of gold that are going to help you for the rest of your life? What would have to happen in this workshop for you? If I've got a brave soul that will unmute, just unmute and tell me what would have to happen for you to give this workshop your highest rating. I'm taking notes too, by the way. Anybody?
I'm here. Hi, Alexandria speaking. I'm
Yes.
here to learn. So I got my pen, my notepad, my children are at my grandma's house. I'm dialed in. I'm focused. Main thing is to listen. Pastor Mark, you always got the greatest words of wisdom. But to listen and to apply. So how I do that is by locking in, taking notes, no distractions, focused.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Multitasking is a myth. We all think we're doing it, and we're doing a pretty miserable job. If you look up multitasking and miserable, you'll see my picture. I think I'm multitasking and I'm not. So, absolutely glad you're locked in, ready to learn, and you hit a key word, ready to apply. Got some cool stuff at the end, by the way, for that application side of it. Anyone else? Something that stands out that you're saying, if I leave in just under an hour, this is what I want. This is what I'd love to be taking away. Just be thinking about it. Erica,
I'm
yes,
gonna say clarity
clarity.
as far as like next steps and how I should go about the things I want to achieve.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to need three things from you as we dive in here. Need you to take notes as we're sharing in this group. What is shared here, let's keep it confidential. It stays here. Unless I share it about myself, then you can tell the whole world. I'm just looking for a billboard so I can tell everybody what a redeemed hot mess I am. My goodness. So if I tell some of my business, you have my permission to tell anybody else you think it'll help. And number three, we ask you to have an open mind, that you're willing to consider some things you've never thought of, process some things that could break you out of the comfort zone that keeps us stuck when we're trying to pursue new goals. Okay, so this is Rewire Your Goals, and here's what we're about to do. We are diving in to the goals, the habits, and the behavior change we all desire, but we're not going to talk about them in the typical way. This is not about pushing harder. It's not about fixing yourself, trying to be more disciplined. It's about understanding how your fantastic brain actually works and how to create and design habits that are going to feel very natural, very sustainable, and are in great alignment with who you want to become. This isn't more of what's not working. Okay, you can type the word guilty in the chat if you'd like, if this resonates with you. If you're that husky on the sled, just running at top speed, and you're just getting this whip cracking on you, ow, ow, mush, mush, and you're just going as hard and you're trying to push harder, work on yourself, fix yourself. And you're like, I at least ought to turn around and see who is this beating me so mercilessly. You turn around and see who is it on that sled holding that whip, driving you so hard. Yep, you. Go ahead, type guilty in the chat if that's you. This is not what this session is about. This is about some very important truths. Here's the first one. No, sir. No, ma'am. You are not broken. Nothing wrong with you. You are not a mistake. You're not blowing it. You are not broken. You've struggled to stay consistent with goals in the past. Doesn't mean you lack motivation or willpower. Here's what it means. It means your brain was doing exactly what it was designed to do, to protect you, to conserve energy, and to stick with what's familiar. Let me tell you, science is catching up with Bible. Science for so long thought that the brain was this fixed organ that matures somewhere in the mid to late 20s and then only declines from there, that it's this fixed organ. Science has finally learned and discovered the brain is actually regenerative, very malleable. And I'm trying not to geek out on this for too long, but your brain, every morning that you wake up, has regenerated 1,000 new neurons that are standing at your bedside at attention, waiting for marching orders. Now, if you don't give them new orders, they're just going to go get in line with all your other neurons and start marching in the time and the beat of what ain't working. So when you wake up, before your conscious brain gets too deep into what's awaiting me today, what do I have to do, what am I not doing, you're going to use vision, you're going to use intention to give those new neurons something desired to focus on and fire. So here's what happens. When we focus on the desired outcome, not the unwanted present or past, our brain literally starts generating new neural pathways in the direction that we want to go. My client in Romania, he's a doctor. He works in the hospital systems, and now he's opening up his own private clinic. And we were working in our early sessions, probably fourth or fifth session. I had his eyes closed. He was describing how he wanted to show up in life, who he wanted to be. And we even engaged his five senses. What does it look like, smell like, sound like, taste like, feel like to be showing up that way? When we finished, he opened his eyes and he said, "My brain is tingling." And I knew that wasn't a euphemism or a metaphor. His physical brain. And by the way, I was thinking through that earlier, and I had a coaching session with a client from 5 to 6. We did the same thing. She's the second client of mine who literally said the same thing. Wow, my brain is tingling right now. That's not a coincidence. The physical brain is producing a physical sensation of tingling because it is literally generating new neural pathways and new neuroplasticity based on the focus that we give it. So your brain is fantastic. And today we're going to work with the brain instead of fighting it. And if there's 3 things I want you to walk away from this session with, it is, Erica, clarity, and also tools for consistency and natural, organic, internal momentum. Clarity about what actually matters, cutting away all the junk. Consistency that doesn't require constant motivation. And momentum that comes from the small victories, not from pressure. Boy, oh boy, I want to tell you about myself. For the interest of time, I'll just sum it up by saying this. I couldn't get free of my own patterns until I started celebrating the little victories I used to think were failures. That's a huge teaser. You'll just have to get on my website, schedule a time with me, and we can talk more about it. Okay, so here's why goals fail. Our goals fail because often they're too vague, they're too big, or we have absolutely no emotional draw, magnetism, or pull in the direction of these goals. What happens? Well, it's not that they fail because we don't care. It's just that goals themselves really aren't designed for the brain. Our goal, when it feels too overwhelming or unclear, your amazing brain interprets that as a threat, and resistance starts to show up. But now that you know that, the brain doesn't tell you that's what it's doing. But now that you know that's what's happening, you get to come alongside your precious brain and help it instead of alienating it or becoming adversarial with it. Because what's one of the reasons people don't even set goals in the first place? Fear of disappointment. Let me help you tonight. Disappointment is not bad. Disappointment is fuel. If you can sit in the disappointment, you know why it's disappointment? Because you want something. So if you can sit in the disappointment and say, whatever just happened was a way I learned not to do it next time. And let that momentum and that motivation, that desired outcome, fuel you to go back and try it a different way. So using disappointment as fuel instead of thinking disappointment is failure or it's bad. And most people, they've stopped us from dreaming. They've told us to not even try to reach the goal because they think that they're going to spare us from the disappointment. Well, that keeps us stuck, and none of us can afford to stay stuck a day longer. That's why we're doing this on the 30th and not waiting for the 1st. Okay, now, here's the great thing you need to understand. Survival comes before growth. The brain is looking for safety, sameness, and protection, but safety and sameness keeps us small. Protection produces prisons. So even positive change can feel unsafe to the brain if it introduces the unknown, the uncertain. So that's why knowing what to do is not enough. Your brain has to feel safe enough to do it. So survival comes before growth. Another thing you need to understand, motivation is not going to be a reliable source for you. Here's why. We're often taught to wait for motivation, but if your success, I should have brought a mirror so when I say these things, I could just put it in front of me and say it to the mirror. If your success depends on feeling motivated, consistency will always be a struggle. So instead, we're going to create systems and habits that will work even on low energy days. So you won't have to be waking up praying you're motivated. You'll just wake up and say, I have A, B, and C that I'm doing. I did this years ago, and I went from 233 pounds down to 211 pounds. Much of that stayed with me, so now I'm at 205 pounds. And I went through a season not long ago where my weight started with the number 1. You know how long ago it was that my weight started with a 1, 199, 197? I think I picked up a few of those pounds because at 190 something, I don't know if my head fit through the door. Like, you can't tell me nothing. I'm 197. What? Right? Well, what happened was when I was 233, I was like, okay, that's enough. And I jumped into 6 weeks of kickboxing fitness with this motto: head down, no excuses. That's my 4 words, 2 phrases. Head down. It was a meal plan and kickboxing fitness. Head down, no excuses. Why? Because I already knew the question. Well, what about on that cloudy day? Well, what about on that day I feel a little achy? What about that day that my remote control, my couch, and a big bowl of gumbo just is calling my... There is no what if, because there is no option. Head down, no excuses. 3 to 4 workouts per week and following this meal plan to a T. I couldn't wait for motivation, and I couldn't be subject to a presence of or lack of motivation. So we need something else. Let me give it to you. There it is. There's that fantastic brain generating new neural pathways. What is it connected to? Your vision. That biblical scripture, write the vision and make it plain. Let me help you. Here's the best way I could describe it. If you're like me, you love crab legs. And if I invite you to my house for a crab leg feast, you do not picture the word crab and the word legs. If I tell you there's going to be corn, you don't see the word corn, you don't see the word potatoes. What do you see? You see me dumping that big pile of pink, steamy crabs, yellow corn, potatoes. You see the steam coming off. You see your own private bowl of garlic butter and the rolls, and you see yourself cracking them open. You hear the sound. You can smell it and taste it. And it's not the words crab legs that put you at my house an hour before you were supposed to be there. It's the vision that generates this excitement, this emotional pull, this desired experience. You come to my house and I got the words crab legs written on a piece of paper on the table, there's going to be some consequences and some repercussions for me. So this is what vision is. This is why scripture says, write the vision, make it plain. If you know the Bible, this is why the Lord told Moses, send the 12 spies into the promised land and have them get a good look, a good listen, a good smell and feel and taste. Matter of fact, have them bring some of that fruit back. And the fruit was so big, they had to bring it back on their shoulders between two poles. And they're passing around, look at this fruit. Look what's over there waiting for us. And 10 of the spies, their brains fought the opportunity because of the uncertainty. 2 of those spies said, let's go up right now. That land is ours. We are well able to take it. And then Caleb, 40 years later, stood up at 85 years old. He said, I'm 85 years old. I'm still as strong today as I was 40 years ago. Now, I don't think he was just an old man talking crap. First of all, I'm not going to fight no feeble old man. So I'm definitely not going to fight a man who's still as strong as he was at 45. And I believe he supernaturally preserved his physical strength because he never let go of the vision of that promise. So vision is the brain's GPS. The brain does not move toward logic. It moves toward images and emotions. When you are guiding yourself with clear vision, your brain starts plotting where it's going. Vision acts like a GPS, guides decisions and behavior without constant effort. So I kind of chuckled because most of my clients, when they're ready to hire me, they say, well, this is what I want. I just don't know how. And my response is always the same. How will figure itself out. Let's just talk about what it's going to be like to be there. So we're going to do that tonight. Let's get out of this Zoom experience. Close your eyes. Leave your now and look at your next. Take a deep breath through your nostrils, let it out through your mouth. And tell me this. Imagine a future where the habit you want to build is already part of your life. You're not trying. You are firing on all cylinders. You are thriving. You're vibrant. The consistency is there. The habit is like a well-worn muscle. It is default. You don't even have to think about it. Imagine that future and see yourself showing up that way. See yourself in that future state. Notice how you move throughout your day. Notice how you feel. If you're like me, you can't help it. You might already be smiling. Notice who you've become as this habit feels normal, natural, and automatic. Just live there, enjoy it. It might provoke a picture, a sound, a taste, a feeling of texture against your skin, or the feeling of something between your fingers or your toes. You might hear something. Just capture those experiences. Hang out with you, showing up that way in this state of being. Take a mental picture of it. If you're taking notes, jot down some of those sights and sounds and smells and tastes and feels. Write down a few characteristics of who you are showing up that way. And as much as I hate to do it, go ahead and open your eyes so we can continue with our curriculum here. I always kind of feel bad making people come back to now after picturing that kind of a next. But here's what matters. What matters is until you go there, you're not going to go there. But if you go there, you're helping yourself get there. That's the power of vision, the brain attaching itself to the desired outcome, not the unwanted past or present. One of my clients, he came on, he says, all right, Mark, for this session, I want you to help me stop smoking. And I said, well, you hired the wrong coach. I can't help you stop anything, but I can help you start something. What do you want? He said, man, I want my lungs back. I want to get up a flight of stairs with my stamina. I want to walk around with the smell of my laundry soap and my cologne, my shampoo and conditioner, my beard aftershave, instead of the smell of tobacco. I want the freedom to walk or enjoy my breaks at work instead of going out for the crutch. I want freedom. And we started charting his pursuit forward instead of helping him try to break up with the unwanted past and present. Here's how you want to picture it. Mama's coming home and she's saying what? I'm not going to scream at these kids. I'm not going to scream at these kids. If I see these clothes piled up on that couch, I done told them. If I see those dishes in the sink, I'm not going to scream at these kids. She walks in, the first thing she sees is the pile. Second thing she sees is the dishes. And the third thing she does is start screaming, I told y'all to have this clean. Turn off that game, unplug it, put it in my room. Don't touch that game system. Put that tablet in my room. I told you. And she's having this out-of-body experience. I said I wasn't going to do this. But what happened? The brain conjures up the imagery, not the negative. The brain doesn't measure the not. It just conjures up the imagery of her screaming at the kids. So here's how she changes forever. On her way home, she says, when I get in that house, I'm going to look at my precious kids. I'm going to hug them real tight, kiss their foreheads, ask them how their day was, ask them if they got a snack, ask them if they've been hydrating. And if I look over and see the clothes, I'm going to say to my kids, hey, looks like the clothes didn't get done. What happened? Those clothes are going to get done in the next 10 minutes, right, baby? Okay, mommy loves you. I'm holding you accountable. In 10 minutes, we're going to have another conversation if those clothes aren't done. You understand, mama? Oh, those dishes as well. And now she's having a real out of body experience. Who done kidnapped me and inhabited me with aliens? I did it. I did it. I showed up the way I wanted to. Why? Because that's the target. She gave her brain, and her neurons said, ma'am, yes, ma'am. And they marched to the beat of that drum, that vision. Okay, so you already got enough now to get started, but let's keep going. The future you. How do you live? How do you feel? Who have you become? All those years, I was a mere shell of myself, chasing love and acceptance by performance. And I'm not that person. I haven't been that person in a long time, and the freedom is priceless. So, how do you live? How do you feel? Who have you become in that future state where the habits are? Now, take all of that, who you're looking at in that future state, and fill in the blank of this sentence. I am the kind of person who blank. Write that down if you're taking notes. Make a mental note of it, maybe even whisper it or mumble it to yourself as those answers come flooding. I am the kind of person who blank. You're going to need that after this session, whether you do it tonight or tomorrow. You're going to need to access that and that vision again. A couple more seconds. Could be traits, characteristics, habits of behavior that support that vision you just saw. Okay. Now, here is the habit loop. By the way, if you're doing this already, congratulations. You're welcome to take screenshots or phone pictures of every single one of my slides. Reach out to me and ask me to email them to you. I don't care. But here is the habit loop. The habit loops we all are showing up with today and want to show up with tomorrow, they start when a cue signals a routine that then generates a reward. And it's cyclical. It happens over and over again. So now I get to tell on myself. The reason my weight doesn't still start with a 1 is because of the habit loop of getting up from this chair after a coaching session or a meeting and finding my pantry with my handful of trail mix, and not the healthy kind, by the way, the Cajun mix with those sesame sticks. It's all carbs, with the honey-coated, candy-coated peanuts, a couple handfuls of that. Then I'm slicing a few slices of marbled cheese, putting that between a few crackers. I mean, I am cueing myself to the routine of hitting up that pantry and rewarding myself with food, with snacks. And so I have not kept myself at the 197, 198, but when I do see 205, I give myself a little chin check, do some intermittent fasting, and I get away from sugar, get back to some of the healthy, balanced eating. So this is a habit loop. The habit loop, it's just a trigger that starts your habit and an action that follows, then a reward that tells your brain, that was worth repeating. Now, if there's no reward, the habit won't last. So That'll help you pay attention to the trigger, the cue. You say, well, I'm doing this habit again. What were the cues? What prompts engaged me into this? And then what is the routine that cue gets started? And what is the beneficial outcome that happens for me? That raises your self-awareness, and you can no longer do it blindly. Now you're able to start intersecting it with intention. And here's the intention: the little wins. Small wins rewire the brain. Now, in our social media and smartphone world, we get a lot of little rewards called dopamine hits through scrolling social media, popping that Hershey kiss in the mouth, binge watching some funny things or hitting that Netflix episode. Well, the problem is those dopamine hits spike quickly and fade quickly. But we have small wins in the habit formation and in the visioning that pulls us towards what we want, and start doing the things that help us. Here's what happens. We get dopamine, but we get more meaningful dopamine that lasts a lot longer before it fades. In fact, a strenuous walk or jog releases dopamine that lasts 45 minutes to about an hour and a half. We can't get any of our little funny shorts on social media. That dopamine doesn't even last 45 seconds. So, brisk walk, getting down on the floor and doing some stretches. Now, a strenuous workout, high intensity interval workout, or some muscle workout, even watching your show and lifting with some dumbbells or reading a book, that releases dopamine that can last 6 to 8 hours and sometimes longer. Sustained dopamine reward from doing something focused and intensive, something of substance instead of something superficial. So you get to start plotting the small wins. Here's why they matter. Every completed action strengthens a neural pathway. The consistency builds confidence. Confidence builds momentum. I want to say a whole lot about this, but I'm going to be careful because I want to keep us as close to time as possible. I am magnetizing so much into my life as we speak from the consistency that's building the confidence, that's building the momentum. Now, I got to assure you, it is confidence. I also want to assure you, it's not cocky. I'm not being cocky or arrogant, but I have confidence because of the consistency and the momentum. Man, oh man, it's magnetized some things to me today that I'm a little speechless about. And again, call me, email me, Mark, what were you talking about? I'll tell you, be glad to tell you. Okay, so now here's what the small wins end up doing. We get the chance to make it almost too easy by doing it again and again and again. The small wins. Now, you want to talk about small? I didn't go for the walk, but I put my shoes on. Now, everything in you is going to say, that's just a failure. There's nothing victorious about it. Oh, yes, it is. You took an action in the direction you want to go. And even if you stop there, don't beat yourself up for what you didn't do. Celebrate what you did do. Write one sentence of that book Every single book that has ever been written was written one sentence at a time. So just write the one sentence. Just take that one deep breath that activates your parasympathetic nerve, that helps your nervous system go back to a state of calm. We got to talk about informed trauma coaching, nervous system coaching for more of that. But we activate the parasympathetic nerve that can help us out of states of anxiety, depression, panic. And I've helped so many people do that. My favorite is a 15-year-old. Her panic and anxiety was like a level 14 out of 10 when we started. When we finished, it'd come in at a 2 or 3, and within a few seconds, it would be gone. She'd do her activating of breath, tapping, mindfulness, grounding, and she built up that muscle again and again and again. Just write one sentence and stop. And then just write one sentence again and again and again. So make it almost too easy by small micro victories, shrinking the habit into just the first step of the habit. Okay, my habit. Now, in 2 days, you can go to the gym if you want to. 45 minutes waiting for a treadmill. Now, because all behavior is driven by beliefs, you go back to that same gym in the middle of February. You don't have to wait on a treadmill. Matter of fact, you can be on 2 treadmills at the same time. Everybody's back home on their couch, giving the gym money for the resources they're not going to use. So they're thinking about a whole workout. Shrink it down to just the habit. Just drive to the gym. That's the first step. Matter of fact, the first step is change clothes. I did my kickboxing fitness the best because I took my duffel bag into the office and I changed clothes in the office and drove to the gym. I knew better than to go home and change clothes. That couch is a tractor beam. My dog Mosley was a little puppy tractor beam. It'd be midnight before I even remembered I was going to the gym, let alone go. So small habits. Instead of focusing on the full outcome, just lower the barrier to entry. Putting on your shoes, writing one sentence, taking one deep breath counts. So here's some questions that help design the habits that stick. Here's what it is. Where does this fit naturally in my day? What's the smallest step I can take? What reward can I add immediately after? No, I'm not opening up a business today, but I will just register the LLC. No, I'm not going to do a 5K marathon, but I'll walk to the corner and I'll walk back. No, I'm not going to wake up and pray for an hour, but I will set a reminder to pray for 5 minutes. I won't do a 30-minute yoga video, even though I bought the DVD. I will do a 5-minute stretch. I will draft the outline. I will list all of my ideas. Last year, this helped me so much. I didn't do my taxes. I just opened up my bank account and printed the report. And then I celebrated that victory. Then the next time, I opened up the report and I sorted the income and the expenses. And that's all I did. Then I went and played with my dog some more. Went and did some other stuff on it. And before I knew it, I'd start the action. And because I didn't have anywhere to be or nothing else to do, instead of stopping, I kept going. So that 1 minute of just opening the bank account, print the report, turned into, wow, I've been doing this for 20 minutes and I got a lot done. And submitted my taxes way sooner than I ever had. Now, I have a therapist. She's an amazing Bible-believing therapist, and she's got me on this. Oh, did I even put it in here? I didn't put it in here, y'all. She's got me on 555. 5 minutes of prayer, 5 minutes of scripture, 5 minutes of worship. Why? 15, 15, and 15, I couldn't do it. And I'm a pastor. I couldn't do it. I'd wake up with too many things. I'm a solopreneur. It's a feast or famine with business for me sometimes. Not anymore. And I already had emails to respond to, social media posts to prepare, clients to reach out to, all of that. And I couldn't even fathom doing anything for the next 45 minutes. She said, oh, just do 5, 5, and 5. So that's free. If that would help you, set your timer and pray for 5 minutes. Set your timer and worship for 5 minutes. Set your timer and read 5 minutes of scripture. And when the alarm goes off, stop. And don't beat yourself up. Don't let any of these authors writing books called Could Ye Not Pray for 1 Hour get you into condemnation and beating yourself up? No, no, no. Celebrate what you did. Now, just this morning, put my timer on for 5 minutes. And when that timer went off, I was in the middle of Ezekiel chapter 7. I wanted to finish that chapter, so I stayed longer than 5 minutes, about 7.5 minutes. So it all starts with just small little victories over and over again. So just break it down to the first step of that habit and just do that over and over again. The book Atomic Habits, I didn't put it on my list, your list, but that'll help you. A guy just decided, you know what, after I go to the bathroom, I'm just going to get down on the floor and do 1 push-up. That's it. Every time I go to the bathroom, 1 push-up. And he did that consistently for 6 weeks. Then he said, I'll increase it to 2. Then I'll increase it to 5. And why was that easy? Because he was already down on the floor. And that part of it, just starting the motion of push-ups, was automatic by then. Okay, so when you design this habit, you're going to ask yourself 3 powerful questions. Where does this habit fit naturally in my day? A walk around the interior of your office may not fit naturally between 8 and 10 when you got emails flying and coworkers calling. But what about when you go to the bathroom? Maybe you say, I'll add a walk to that. What's the smallest? So here's the 3 questions. Where does it fit naturally in my day? Second question, what's the smallest step I can take? Third question, and what reward can I add immediately afterward? And yes, sometimes the reward is just hugging yourself tight and thanking yourself. Sometimes the reward is you go give somebody a high five or they give you a high five. Maybe the reward is that Hershey kiss on your tongue. But how can you start rewarding the smallest step so that it is reinforced? Now, here's the important thing to know. No, there's your questions right there. If I had only clicked the slide, you would have had them. These are the questions. You can take a screenshot. Again, you can ask me for them. I'm not sure if they're in the workbook you're going to get access to, but you're going to get access to a workbook. Okay, let me get us wrapped up. Here is a fact. All of us are living it right now. You become what you repeat. Every single habit is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. Every habit is a vote for the type of person you believe you are. So if you have a habit that you don't want, it's because there's a belief you are carrying about yourself. If you confront that belief, you can start seeing the routine of that habit lose strength. And more importantly, the more you repeat an action, the more natural the identity associated with that action feels. Over time, it becomes something you embody. It's not even an effort. It's just a default switch. And here's how you do it. You go from I try to I am. And I try to do my video recordings. I try to do my 15-minute workout. No. You go from I try, which is do, to I am, which is be. I am diligent. I am consistent. I am focused. I am committed. I am capable. Take a moment and think about the I ams that are absolutely true about you. Jot them down. If you need help, what does God say that I am? If you need further help, what am I believing that's false about me? And what is the opposite? Let me help you out today. A lie spoken and believed a million times is still a lie. The truth never acknowledged or discovered even once is still the truth. Is your mouth aligned with your misery, or is your mouth aligned with your mission? Do you speak the I ams that are true about you? So many of my clients, it's I am enough. I am worthy. I do matter. I have significance. So whatever yours are, you go into this habit formation by speaking it, not I'm becoming, I will one day. It's possible to know I am. You speak it as a present experience, not a future pursuit. Matter of fact, that's what scripture said. Let the weak say, I am strong. Personalized, not let the weak say, God says I'm strong. Not I'm going to be strong. I will be strong. No, I am strong. So this is the principles of renewing the mind that the Bible talked about way before science discovered it. We thought it was just spiritual. It's mental, and it's the physical brain. And it penetrates us down to the cellular level. Dr. Caroline Leaf says it this way. You can use your mind to change your mind, to change your brain, and that'll change your life. You can use your mind to change your mind, to change your brain, and that will change your life. Okay, so it's just doing one habit, one time, and experiencing one reward, giving yourself one reward. That's your commitment. I want you tonight, right now, take a couple seconds and decide. Choose one habit, one time or place, and one reward. This is not a lifetime promise. Don't worry about trying to still be doing this on March 30th. Just enjoy doing it on December 30th. Don't wait till the 1st, y'all. Don't wait till the 2nd. You're just going to reinforce the things you're trying to stop. It's like I'll start Monday. If I say that on a Thursday, that means the rest of Thursday, all of Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm just going to continue the habits that I don't want to reinforce anymore. If I need to start it on Monday, I need to start it today. If I need to start it on January 1st, I needed to start it on October 1st. I don't have October 1st, but I do have December 30th and December 31st. And that alone can set me up for January 1st. And before you know it, we'll be together this time next year, and you'll give me a laundry list of all the different things you've done with the new habits and the new life that you're living. Okay, so you are creating alignment through identity. Language matters. Alignment matters, and it makes habits easier to sustain. So here's your key takeaways, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to wrap you up here. Design is greater than discipline. So do the work of designing this habit formation, one step of it, one time, one reward. The other key takeaway, vision fuels action. And finally, identity creates consistency. Those are your key takeaways. Now, if you want to screenshot this or ask me for it later, completely up to you. Some tremendous book reading. Again, don't want you to go out and buy all 5 of these books and think you need to have them all read by January 1st or February 1st. But what if you just read the first 2 pages of a single one of these books before Sunday, before Monday of next week? So The Biology of Belief, my mentor calls this the greatest book on faith ever written by a non-believer. Now, don't get funny about it being a non-believer. Science doesn't validate the Bible validates science. So people are discovering these truths even if they haven't discovered the way, the truth, and the life. The Biology of Belief is tremendously chock full of so many of these principles of how belief drives behavior. Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen, As a Man Thinketh, Switch on Your Brain, there's Dr. Caroline Leaf, who I mentioned, and Man, oh Man, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Dr. Joe Dispenza said something that rocked my world. Nerve endings that fire together, wire together. That's why we end up so hardwired and programmed in these things we want to stop, because those nerve endings that fired together, wired together. Well, you can try to fight that if you want to, or you can just start creating nerve endings that fire together through these principles you've gotten tonight. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to hardwire and become the new default programming that you do without thinking, and think without thinking, and experience without effort. So great books, especially if you're a book reader. I think all of them are on audio if you're a greater book listener. I think if I buy one more book, the fire department's going to call this whole house a fire hazard. So I've been buying some audio books instead. But however you get it, these are great resources for you. There's some times, y'all, cheat code here. I just look up the book summary and read it a few times instead of committing myself to the whole book. Because if I start reading books now and I don't die until they're all done, I'll be 111 before I go see God. Okay, you have to wait. You have to delay returning. Okay, so there's your book recommendations. Now, change accelerates with support. So here's what I'm going to offer you, and then I'm going to get you off of here after some questions and answers, by the way. I have a Shift Forward community. It's centered around a great resource I have called Shift Forward, 6 weeks of personal growth and transformation. I'll say a little bit about that now. But this is a community called Shift Forward. How do you get there? bit.ly/shift FUFWDCOMM. You're going to get that from me by email as well. But you go there and click join. You'll sign up with your own password. You'll be part of the Shift Forward community. And the Shift Forward community is filled with the free Rewire Your Goals worksheet. So you can print that off and reinforce what you're taking away. You can do that tonight, right now. You do it first thing in the morning. And also, you're going to be receiving weekly resources and tools. I've been so blessed with so much, and I'm creating so much. And I just give it away. I just get in there and say, hey, check this out. Look at this. If you do this, do that. So you're going to get weekly resources and tools. I'm creating more, but I don't even have to create anymore. There's already so many sitting and waiting. So you're going to get the weekly resources and tools. Others who are committed to transformation and change.
That's my place. That's what he told you. That's what
What was that?
Because that's because JoJo and the kids.
Okay. So there's also others who have completed the Shift Forward process. And I told you I train and certify transformational life coaches. And there are certified transformational life coaches who are in that community as well. Now, I had a conversion of my system. It kicked everybody out. So as we speak, people are rejoining. So when you go in, you won't see a whole lot of people, but very quickly you'll start to see that number climb again. You just go to bit.ly/shiftforwardcom for community. You see it there. Make sure you get joined. And here's the other thing I am giving you. I hate that the word free is on it because really nothing's free. It just means it's not going to cost you any money. But this free gift that I'm giving you is going to cost you an investment, time and effort to go in to my 6-week transformational life coaching experience. You're going to watch the video, download the reading material, taking notes, answering questions, downloading the homework. And guess what? You can keep all of that for free, and you can watch that video 2 and 3 times per week. Then you're going to get week 2, self-awareness and renewing the mind. Same thing, the video, the reading material, the homework assignments, all of this is Bible-based transformational processes for change and growth. So those first 2 weeks, I'm just giving them away. Why? I am desperate to see people not start and fail, feel the discouragement, and go back to what's not working. I'm desperate to see people experience lasting change. And yes, I'm in business. I run a company. So you will be invited after those 2 weeks free. If you want to continue, I've got a great discounted rate of these 6 weeks of the process, the value of which I won't even say out loud, but the price you're going to get is a little bit like highway robbery. So you'll have access to that. You'll get offered that. But listen, if you just take the first 2 weeks and then unsubscribe and block me and never hear from me again, you will have enough to really experience some deep transformation if you keep it going. Anything you start and stop won't stay. But if you just take those first 2 weeks and do them for the rest of your life, wow, 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 wow. I can't emphasize how much things will happen. So I have speaking and coaching packages available for people who want more. If you want or need to be my client, I am accepting coaching clients. I provide resources on our journey to wholeness. The art of self-confrontation, my favorite, the relationship you have with you, also in all that personality behavioral styles, all that good stuff that I just can't get enough of, helping people with, providing companies, organizations. I just did some great work for a nonprofit and about 10 of their top leaders. It's just been a blast. So if you work for a company, that needs leadership principles. They need growth and transformation. They need stuff like what you got tonight. Tell your company they need to hire this guy and fly me out. I'll send the materials ahead. I'll come do a 2-day workshop. I'll come do a 1-day workshop. I'll do a 4-hour workshop to provide your company, your leaders in the company, your line level staff in the company, what they need for growth and transformation. And I'll also do that one-on-one for any of them that want to hire me, or for you, if you need a coach to come alongside and ask you the kinds of questions that help you find the answers within. Okay, let me come out of this, open it up briefly. I'll do my best. One of my challenges, you ask me a question 30 minutes later, I'm still answering it. I'm not going to do that tonight. I want to get you out of here. Let me get some feedback. How's this landing with you? What has impacted you? And if you have it, fire away. What question can I answer? Anybody? And yes, I'll start picking on people if nobody unmutes. Erica. She's my niece, so she almost doesn't have a choice. She's grown, so she actually does. Unmute if you would. Just share one thing that landed with you powerfully, or give me an observation or some feedback if you would, Miss Ma'am.
All right. Let me see. I have a lot of notes. Give me 1 second. Let me pick one.
Okay. And while you do, I'm going to mention this, you guys. Erica's my niece. Veronica Williams is my cousin. It's a family affair. I'm just so tickled. My last coaching certification, my brother started the first 6 weeks, but then my cousin actually did the entire, on my father's side, she did the entire certification journey. And so it was a joy to just be serving my own family. And they paid for their certification just like everybody else. So glad that my cousin Veronica is on here. If you're able, Veronica, unmute and tell us where you are with us from, and one thing that describes your personality. I'm going to take Erica, and then I'll see if you're ready, if you're able to. If not, no pressure. Miss Erica.
Okay, so I'm going to go with goals fail because they're big. I tend to make them too big.
Yeah.
And I'm learning now as an adult, it has to have an emotional pull.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So many of us try to drag that passion or that goal or that dream to the backyard and bury it. By the time you put that shovel down and wash your hands, that dream was tapping you on your shoulder. Why? You can't kill a dream.
Right.
I'll tell you what you can do. You look underneath the ashes. You think that fire is out, but there's a little red ember that's glowing. You just touch some material to it and blow, you'll burn a whole city down. So that emotional pull, that power there. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate that. I can tell your mama you paid attention tonight, too. I love you. Anybody else? Any big takeaways, aha moments, something that landed with you powerfully, or a question? Don't be embarrassed. We only get where we get by asking questions. There's no, Miss Tiffany, I think I see your hand. Or you were swatting at a gnat.
Yeah, I was trying to unmute myself, but
Okay.
it was the instead of saying like I'm trying, like say that I am. I tend to do that a lot.
Yeah.
I use that a lot. And so I am going to start, trying to stop saying that and speak more positively, I would say.
Can you rinse and repeat that again? You are what?
I'm going to stop saying that.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
be more positive.
But For all of us, that's just how habitual it is. I'm going to try to stop saying try. That's just our nature. But yes, you are going to stop. And your words, by the way, Dr. Myron Golden, y'all, he said it this way: words create worlds, right? The universe was not built with bricks, it was built with breath. So when we speak, we are creating the world that we want to be experiencing. Okay, for the sake of time, anybody else? Question, comment, threat?
I had one that it
Yes,
was
ma'am.
kind of like, don't beat yourself up about what you didn't do, but focus on what you did do, no matter how small it is. And it's
Yeah,
just that shift in like a positive thinking and just, mind shift.
yeah, yeah. Now, a little thing about me, like I said, find a billboard and tell everybody my business. I came out of a lot of brokenness of being introduced to pornography at 7 years old and a sexual trauma at 7 years old that wired me so dysfunctionally. But you have no idea the number of men I help get free like I am and stay free. And here's what I tell them, Jessica. If you looked at a woman getting off the bus and your eyes ate that meal for a full minute and a half, but you could have looked for 10 more seconds and you caught yourself and looked away, that's not a failure. That's a victory. If she disappears around the corner and you didn't stop looking, and maybe you tried to break the window to keep looking, then okay, that you failed, right? You came up short. But if you looked away before you had to, that's a victory. Celebrate that moment of victory instead of oh, I blew it again. I failed again. No, don't beat yourself up for the minute and a half. Celebrate the 10 seconds of victory. And before you know it, you'll look for 10 seconds and then you'll see it out of the corner of your eye and you won't even turn your neck. And you will say, who in the world is this guy? When did I become this guy? One victory at a time. And my client left me a voice message the other day. She says, Mark, I just appreciate you're the only man that honors me with godliness and purity. Who I was, couldn't have even fathomed being that on my best day. I couldn't fathom being that after I died and went to see God. And that, I got some great Christmas presents, but that was the best Christmas present I got in 2025. When she said that about me, all I can do is thank God for the help and be grateful that I get to help so many men with that. So anyway, yeah, celebrating those victories. I can't wait to get thrown out of a church for suggesting something like that. I'm just ornery like that. All right. Anybody else? Last thing I just want to say. Oh, one more thing. Go back here. Let those neurons fire with what do I want to experience most and what will be different when I live this way. So with that, thank you all so much. All of my contact information is there. You probably already have it because you registered for this. I cannot thank you enough for letting me serve you tonight. I pray that I did that with vibrancy, with passion, with conviction, because all I want to do the rest of my life is help people walk into greater freedom, reflecting more and more of that image and likeness that they were created in. Thank you all so much. I see your messages in the chat. By the way, I will be emailing you a link to this recording so you can download it and save it and keep it forever. You can put it up on your screen and make your whole family watch it, or have a girls' party and bring, right? So I'll send you the link to the recording, and I'll be following up with all those other materials that I shared with you. Don't forget, go to bit.ly/shift FWDCOMM to be part of the Shift Forward community. You're just going to get more stuff for free. If you never talk to me again or hire me again, you'll get so much free that'll help you, and definitely enjoy serving you. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. And probably thanks to this workshop, have an amazing New Year's Eve and New Year's Day and a momentum and life-changing 2026. We'll see you soon.